Justin, you know what? We need to talk to an expert, and thankfully I've got one on the line. So I'm going to say goodbye to you, and now I'm going to say hello to Jonathan Davis. He's an economist and wealth advisor in Hertfordshire. Good morning to you, Jonathan.
Hello, Andy.
Are we too late to the party? Is there still money to be made in bitcoins?
There is a school of thought that if this is going to be the global currency in, 10 or 30 years, then it's only just started. And whereas we're looking at $17,000 per Bitcoin, I think one of your interviewees there on the street said it's about 1,000. It shows you it was $1,000 only at the beginning of this year, 17,000 today. So it's
no way.
Unbelievably in the last 11 months. But as I say, if this is going to be our global currency, and that's the thing, nobody actually knows that, but those who believe in it say it will be, then I'm telling you, you're looking at $1 million per Bitcoin in a generation.
But doesn't that show, though, Jonathan, how much of a risk it is? I mean, if it goes up that quickly, it can go down that quickly too, can't it?
In technical terms, risk is actually volatility. How much percentage can it go up? How much percentage can it go down? It's hugely volatile, but it's been on a massive rising scale for years, since 2009 when it started. As we've just heard, it started at literally cents on the dollar. It's now $17,000 per Bitcoin. And each Bitcoin, incidentally, for those who don't know, can be split into 8 decimal places. There's only going to be 21 million of them, ultimately. Thus, it has a finite supply, apparently. And that's the way, apparently, this, I'm not a technologist. That's how it can be distributed and become the global currency. So, it has gone up leaps and bounds, particularly in 2017. Personally, I'd be averse to be getting involved just now. I'd like to see a very, very big pullback, a very big crash before I'd get involved. But what's interesting, even though it's gone up from $1,000 to 17,000 this year, it's had 5 crashes of between 20 and 40%. Personally, I'd want to see much bigger crash before I'd get involved. But yes, it has been an absolutely astonishing thing to watch during 2017.
Well, let's go right back to basics. Because when we talk about bitcoins, we're essentially talking about another currency like sterling or dollars or euros. But how did it even start? How did it come about?
There is an anonymous person or group of people who in 2008, by the name of Satoshi Nakamoto, wrote a white paper called a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. It was only 9 pages. It's very easily accessible on the internet. And it explained how you could create a decentralized currency, not involving central banks like the Bank of England, the Federal Reserve, that sort of thing. It could be the new global currency because it could be trusted. You can see instantly who's transacting, and no one can apparently defraud it. So that was the basis of it. And then someone using the white paper created the computer algorithm. All of a sudden, bitcoins were launched. And it has had continual skepticism in the 9 years of its life. The original mainstream media event that came along back in, I think, 2010 or 11 was that a chap had made so much on Bitcoin in having bought it at a penny and it gone up to like $100, so he was able to buy himself a flat with his capital gains. And that was interesting. The very first transaction was that someone used bitcoins to buy a pizza 1,000 miles away. Now, had you used the same amount of Bitcoin, the amount he used would have been worth $100 million. The most expensive pizza ever going to happen in the world.
I bet he's regretting that.
So the future is potential that Bitcoin or something, cryptocurrency is the generic term, or cryptocurrency, could become our future, could be the way we transact, getting rid of pounds, dollars, etc., and we only transact on our mobile phones, and we zap, and all of a sudden a proportion of a Bitcoin goes and buys whatever you're buying. But nobody actually knows if that's what's going to happen. And the problem is there is a lot of fraud in the cryptocurrency sector. There are literally thousands of cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin by mile is the granddaddy of them all. But there are others coming up behind it, which are also very, shall we say, successful and growing in price. But one of the problems of Bitcoin, and this is what people should perhaps know, is that they talk about it being decentralized and a currency for the people and whatever. The fact is, right now, less than 1% of people who own Bitcoin own 80% of all the Bitcoins. So, it could be, and I'm not saying it is, but it could be the biggest scam of all time. Because you're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars now. So, I don't know. I'm just telling you what's out there.
Well, Jonathan, it's absolutely fascinating. I'm more educated now than I was 7 minutes ago. Can I just say one little thing? Because I know that you are an economist and a wealth advisor in Hertfordshire. The next big thing, forget Bitcoins, my friend. I've got this from Barry down the pub. Olive oil. Olive oil. It's gone up 50p in a week. Olive oil is the future.
Is that right? Is that olive oil that was Popeye's girlfriend?
Yeah,
Or is it a different olive oil?
No, the one you pour over your salad.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, you might be right. Personally, I like uranium mining companies.
Oh, well, horses for courses. Speak to you later, my friend. Bye-bye.
Okay.